Time now for your forewarned weather with Cedric Haynes.
All right, folks, let's talk about this inversion that continues to be a big story out there across the northern valleys. And you can see the view from Ensign Peak, or maybe you can't see the view here. We've got a lot of blue skies, a couple of fair weather clouds up above the inversion layer. It's like an invisible line or invisible cap on the atmosphere. You get below that cap. Look at that. All of that smog that builds up throughout the day just gets trapped, and it hits that inversion layer and then it falls right back down. So therefore you see it building up, and that's going to be a story that we're going to continue to see in the coming days. Here's a look at some other shots from around the area of this inversion haze. We'll take you up towards Utah Valley. You can clearly see as you look across the lake there, you can see that haze layer showing up. How about Cache Valley? Yeah, it wasn't as pronounced yesterday or Monday, but it is more so on your Tuesday, and will likely be that way on Wednesday. And look at that view from Alta looking down towards the Salt Lake Valley. Typically, we could see into the valley. Yeah, not so much. You just see that gunk that's just hovering above us. In fact, I checked the latest on the top 10 worst air quality this morning, and we hold 4 of the 10 spots here across northern Utah of the country. Yeah, check it out. South Jordan, you're coming in right at number 2 right now with that worst air quality in the country. Cottonwood Heights, you're at number 3. Kaysville, you're in the number 6 spot. And look at Sandy. You're closing us out here in the number 8 spot. So not necessarily where you want to be, but it's something that we're going to deal with more and more as we go throughout the rest of today. So you can see that air quality already in the moderate category across most of northern Utah, but we're seeing areas of concentrated air quality already showing up here for especially areas of the South Salt Lake Valley as you get down towards Taylorsville, over towards Draper, South Jordan as well. This is, of course, as we just mentioned, areas where we already have some of the top 10 worst air quality, so you get the idea. This will likely increase even more as we go throughout the rest of today. So pretty much all of Salt Lake County and Utah County with that code orange, unhealthy for sensitive groups. So be aware of that as you step out the door. You're going to run into a lot more of that smog out and about across the area. Portions of Box Elder and Tooele counties under that moderate category, and portions of Duchesne and Vernal counties also now added under that moderate category. So we're seeing this expanding a little bit across our Utah valleys. Thankfully, our friends down across the south still dealing with some good air quality. But for most of us, we are in the thick of things, as they like to say, and that means that we've got to be careful out there. You know, it's not so much that we have the inversion, it's the fact that it's a prolonged inversion event here, which means that it just continues to build up that particulate matter, which is just not good, because that's a lot of pollutants that's in the air that we're breathing in. That's why you have issues, respiratory issues, things like that, that affect you when you see this so prolonged. So if you can, this is a great time to remind you to stay inside as much as possible during this time. That means, hey, if you can do some exercising inside as opposed to outside, this is a good time frame to do that. Of course, if you have to work outside, make sure you grab a mask at 2.5 that filters out that particulate matter there. N95 mask is a great example of that. Avoid multiple trips during the day. If you can, look to carpool with some friends, and also reduce your amount of trips out there. Highs in the low 40s along the Wasatch Front, but you get up into elevation with that inversion. It's in the upper 40s to low 50s around Park City this afternoon, 44 in Roosevelt. As we look at those temperatures around Green River, we'll get you to about 52 degrees. We'll see those numbers in the mid-50s from Torrey back down towards Bryce Canyon as well. So this high-pressure ridge holds firm until the end of the week. We may see a wind shift, though, that could kind of bust up this inversion by the time we get towards the weekend into next week. But overall, we're probably going to have to wait 7 to 10 days before we may try to get back into a more active pattern, potentially even a wetter pattern. We'll see. That's a long ways out. St. George, low 60s over the next several days with sunshine. We'll cool it into the 50s heading into next week. Otherwise, the Wasatch Front, hazy sunshine. Watch out for that reduced air quality at least through Friday. Matt?